it's more important that you really keep yourself in one piece as much as you really want to go for it. It's important to do those stretches every now and then, take a rest every now and then, and also setting up your toms correctly in a nice comfortable position so you're not trying to stretch. And that keeps it as shut closed as possible, so minimal noise there from the hi-hat. And then I join in with my right hand on the hi-hat, doing notes in between the so I'm doing eighth notes on the with the hi-hats and eighth notes also with the snare drum. And I'm going to bring in the bass drum. They have quite a nice smooth edge to them, but I've also got a pair of rock Sapien hats that are very heavy, and I find they're good for doing really heavy rock drumming where you're using your feet a lot to create this is a pace ride cymbal. It's got a nice smooth edge to it. I also quite like light hi-hats, which again really smooth the edge. Got a nice, and they're light weighted, so they're easy to play. You get a nice compressed sound when you're learning rudiments and. So we're starting off with the 16 beat triplets, which are you could also add the doubles in there as well. So we're doing. And that is going to be all the two. It's really important to do that bit of exercise every day, and keep yourself well, and doing yoga exercises every day to keep those limbs flexible. About the same hi-hat beat, quite commonly used for funk beat. So you would maybe do that over a ride, and perhaps put the snare back on and get a nice. That's an alternation. Different combinations that you can do with the hi-hat. I'll demonstrate a couple. So if we start off with the first one, which was and then there was the second one that I showed. And then there's the third one, which goes like this.
emphasise, I think, how important it is to use the right part of the drum that you're playing in. So you find that you get different frequencies at different areas of the drum. I find especially with the low tom, it's good if you're doing the rhythm that I was just doing.
It's important that you get a good sound out of your drum kit. The room acoustics matter, and the skins that you're using. The old pinstripes are a very common one to use, I think, and these are Weather Kings, and this one is a very interesting oil skin that I've got on the floor because it dampens the sound a bit. There's a nice damp sound. Also, if you want to adjust the sound to get a nice funky sound out of the toms, you can use cloths. Sometimes we'll whack a whole cloth over snare drum, and it deadens the sound, gives it a nice soft edge. Or if it's not mic'd up and it's a bit too quiet doing it that way, you can just put a small cloth on, or a couple of little pads or rims.
Okay, now just elaborating on the rhythm that I was doing with the bass drum pedals a minute ago. This is an interesting rhythm which you can do around the toms, but you're not using the double bass drum pedal. Instead, we're keeping time with the hi-hat, and again, it's good to practice both with the heel up or your heel down. If you've got the heel up, then you're putting your full force of your legs onto the hi-hat. It's creating a most minimal sound out there, maybe just a feel. It's also difficult to get that whilst you've got your heel down, but it's very important to practice with your heel down. And it's also less strenuous on your knees as well. The whole. And if you're at a gig and you want to go for a nice drum solo around the toms, just create a nice pattern in there. Now, although a consecutive rhythm might seem quite easy if you're just doing a right-left pattern with the bass drum in between, it's actually quite a difficult rhythm to get the hang of. So it's good to practice that, I think. So you're just doing right-left, right-left with the bass drum going in between each beat. It's also an interesting rhythm on the hi-hat. And if you can start maybe just by doing the hi-hat and bass drum. And the snare. And then alternating those rhythms, inverting them. So. And I know that might sound a bit robotic and a bit like a scratch CD, but it really does actually work if you're doing a rhythm, like maybe a breakbeat rhythm, and you just slide in a quick sort of fill there, so yeah. Ordinary 16 beat funk beat, so. Again, you've got the issue with the patterns that you're going to use with the with your sticks this time. So we're doing, and again I'm going to refer back to the African rhythms that I learnt, which are consecutive. So you're doing a right-left pattern all the time. You're not doubling up at all, and it's quite good for linear patterns. So if you're adding the bass drum in between the notes, you're doing right-left. Very simple pattern, or if you're doing triplets, you can still again do the right-left pattern. And now maybe you might like to double up, so you're going from right to right again, and putting the bass drum in between. So. Such as polyrhythms, Latin, double bass drum, and linear techniques over the top.